Evening Bahamas, you're tuned into MB12, broadcasting from Cable 12 studios on Robinson Road. Coming up tonight in news, forecasters say batten down the hatches as severe weather threatens the northern Bahamas. Roadworks completion pushed back because of the rain. Plans to address issues at Her Majesty's prison, plus more from our exclusive interview with former Prime Minister Ingram. We've got those stories and so much more coming up. I'm Paige McCartney, and MB12 starts right now. Welcome once again to MB12. Well, don't expect any sunshine anytime soon. Officials from the Nassau Met Department today advising residents in the northern Bahamas to remain indoors and protect their property. Charisma Robinson has more on the traveling storm.
Portions of the northern Bahamas woke up to wet weather today with heavy downpours in spots. Deputy Director of the Department of Meteorology, Basil Dean, says this wet weather should be welcomed by some people as a number of areas have experienced a bit of a dry spell. Over the next 24 to 36 hours, Dean says we can expect that low-pressure system, which is currently in the vicinity of Cuba, to move northeast in the Florida Straits, just between the coast of Florida and North Andros.
During the passage, we expect intensification of the rainfall in some parts of the northwest Bahamas. As I speak, there are some areas of the northwest Bahamas which are experiencing some heavy showers and thunderstorms, such as the northern portion of Andros, Bimini, Grand Bahama, and it's also approaching Abaco as a...
The Department of Meteorology issued a severe thunderstorm watch for those islands. Meteorologists are predicting 4 to 9 inches of rain. Downpour intensified here in New Providence shortly after 2 this afternoon. Dean expects heavy rainfall to continue throughout the northern Bahamas until 10 p.m. After that, he expects the rain to ease up.
Again, we are still maintaining that flood advisories for the northwest and parts of the central Bahamas, and the reason for that is we've been having a prolonged periods of rains, which has caused the ground to become saturated. And with the anticipated heavy downpours later on this afternoon and tonight, that could trigger off some flooding in low-lying areas. So residents who live in areas that are prone to flooding in such conditions, we ask them to take the necessary precaution to safeguard their properties.
Dean warned that some of these thunderstorms have the potential to be heavy to occasionally severe at times, causing strong gusty winds, dangerous lightning, heavy downpours, and possible waterspouts or tornadic activity.
These things can prove very dangerous to persons operating on the outside, so you would want to ensure that once the thunderstorm activity begins in your area, to seek safe shelter.
Boaters in the watch areas should remain alert and seek safe harbor. Though meteorologists expect this hurricane season, which begins on June 1st, to be below average, Dean is warning residents to start hurricane preparations early.
Just remember, it always takes just that one single storm to devastate your community, and that is the focus we want to keep and treat every season as though it was a busy one, and to ensure that we are always prepared, particularly during this time of the year. We know we live in a hurricane-prone zone, and we just do not know when that big one is going to come, so we want to be prepared whenever it does come.
Dean says by late Friday evening, early Saturday morning, the weather should clear up. Reporting for MB12, I'm Charisma Robinson.
And speaking of that bad weather, there are local reports of a tornado touching down on Abaco today. However, meteorologists haven't confirmed the weather system as a tornado. But we've got pictures of the aftermath from an eyewitness. The system reportedly touched down shortly before 3 p.m. in the Murphytown area, according to a resident who says several power lines and fences are down. In one of the pictures, you can even see that an SUV was knocked onto its side and some heavy construction machines were damaged. According to officials at the National Emergency Management Agency, at least 2 homes were affected, in addition to the block plant that we're showing you pictures of. NEMA also said there aren't any reports of injuries. Well, weeks of heavy rain are also putting a damper on the New Providence Road Improvement and Infrastructure Project. Officials from the Ministry of Works say the nasty weather has impacted the progress progress of the controversial roadworks, they fear they'll lose even more time if a hurricane passes over the Bahamas this season. Here's Vonique Toot.
Spokesperson for the New Providence Improvement and Infrastructure Project, Shanique Aubrey, estimates that 85% of roadworks are complete. However, she says the wet weather has caused significant delays in roadworks over the past 3 weeks, and she fears it will continue to do so as we head into the hurricane season. So far, Aubrey says the rain has set workers back by 1 to 2 weeks.
Quite a number of things that we have to do in our works cannot be done in wet weather, rainy weather. Obviously, once it's full out rain, there's no work going on for the most part. Certain types of work, such as preparation of material for paving and paving as well, can also still be delayed after rain, because you cannot work wet or saturated material. So sometimes even after the rain has stopped, there's still an additional delay because you have to wait for the material to dry out to a certain level. That wet material that's like very, very saturated with rainwater cannot be used right away. So we have had some significant delays in the last few weeks because of the rain.
It doesn't help that Met officials are predicting 9 inches of rain in New Providence between Wednesday and Saturday. That water usually settles into trenches and open holes, posing a huge hazard for motorists and pedestrians. Aubrey urges road users to pay attention to traffic signs in affected areas.
We do have quite a number of trenches that are open because of underground works. What we try to do in terms of warning motorists or the public is we try to erect the orange fencing in places around where we have open holes and trenches. We also put up cones in those areas. We also do have signage that says caution, deep trench or open trench in the area. For the most part, we try to keep motorists away from open trenches, even when it's not raining. That's one of the main reasons why we do have a lot of significant road closures, because it's just not safe. We do not want to put the public into situations that are potentially unsafe for them.
Despite these challenges, Aubrey says officials plan to readjust their work schedule to avoid going beyond the project's completion date. In fact, Duke Street between Blue Hill Road and Market Street was closed today. It will be open to vehicular traffic on Friday before being closed again between Saturday and Monday. That road will also be closed next week, Wednesday. During those closures, the Ministry of Works will team up with the Antiquities, Monuments, and Museums Corporation to restore Gregory's Arch,
a historical landmark of national significance. Restoration efforts will include repairs to a portion of the arch that has been damaged, removal of roots and other vegetation that is growing in the limestone material of the arch, and replastering and painting of the arch. A sign will also be erected that notes the historical significance of the arch.
At this point in the New Providence Improvement and Infrastructure Project, contractor Jose Cardellone is working primarily in 4 areas: Prince Charles Drive, Blue Hill Road South, the Wolf Road Corridor, and Market Street and Blue Hill Road at the Duke Street Junction. Fox Hill Road South near Prince Charles Drive will be closed for 1 week. Additionally, Soldier Road near Prince Charles and the Blue Hill Road Carmichael Road intersection will remain closed for the next 2.5 weeks. To find out more information about ongoing roadworks or to express concerns, Aubrey encourages the public to contact the Ministry of Works hotline at 302-9700. Reporting for MB12, I'm Vonique Toot.
While the Free National Movement is hoping to hold on to the 9 seats it currently holds in the House of Assembly, but that will depend on the outcome of a by-election in the North Abaco constituency. Current Member of Parliament and former Prime Minister Hubert Ingram spoke exclusively with MB12 yesterday about the future of his seat and the future of the party, which he has led through several wins and its recent loss. Here's Royston Jones.
Three people have reportedly expressed interest thus far in becoming the Free National Movement's candidate in the North Abaco by-election. Former Prime Minister Hubert Ingram has been elected by residents of North Abaco to represent them in Parliament for 8 consecutive terms. However, following his party's defeat in the May 7th general election, he announced that he is leaving frontline politics. Mr. Ingram told MB12 that those 3 people are from Abaco, and he believes residents want one of their own to represent them.
I don't know what Abaco is going to decide, but my instinct says that there would be a preference for somebody who is from Abaco. There'd be a preference for somebody who's not from Abaco. That isn't, say, somebody who is not from Abaco, but who has Abaco connection, would not be acceptable. But that's to be determined. Abaco has had non-Abaconians represent them before in the South, never in the North. From the time we created the seat, it's been in my family, Mr. Booton, and then me.
Mr. Ingram has said Abaconians will decide who the FNM's candidate is. That person is expected to run against Renardo Curry from the PLP. Ingram defeated him by nearly 400 votes. A by-election has to be held within 60 days of Ingram's resignation date, which is July 19th. Despite the FNM's recent loss, the former Prime Minister says he has no doubt the party will bounce back.
The FNM will bound. Do very well. They will. Next time. Because this government is incapable of being anything other than a bad government. Incapable of being anything other than incompetent. Incapable of doing anything other than talking a lot. They trip over each other to talk and talk and talk. You watch the actions. You watch the results. It's going to be long now before people begin to compare the promises made with the delivery being received.
Mr. Ingram also hit out at the government for placing Education Minister Jerome Fitzgerald and Health Minister Dr. Perry Gomez on the back bench in Parliament.
It is unthinkable that the Minister of Education and the Minister of Health, two of the most important ministries of the government, in terms of expenditure, etc., that those ministers end up sitting in the back of ministers who are in the front. That they are numbered in the double digits and others in single digit. These are very important positions, education and health.
Mr. Ingram noted that prime ministers assign numbers to cabinet ministers based on their ministry's level of importance. He says this makes one question Christie's priorities. Reporting for MB12, I'm Royston Jones.
Well, former Free National Movement candidate for Bamboo Town, Cassius Stewart, has withdrawn his bid for the party's deputy leader post just 2 days ahead of the party's convention. Stewart, who entered the ring along with Long Island MP Loretta Butler Turner, Senator Desmond Bannister, and former Senator Gladys Johnson Sands, made the announcement via Facebook late this afternoon. Our news team spoke with him following his announcement. Stewart says an article published in the Tribune newspaper last week misrepresented him. He maintains that he never said anything about him making the FNM sexy when he spoke with the Tribune. He says he believes that article would have hurt his chances of winning. Stewart says he will not be contesting any other positions in the party. Moving forward, he says he will remain neutral and assist the party wherever he can.